Approval of the roof labor bid for Lincoln Trail. Trent, Damian, and Ryan.
All right, so I'm going to kick it off here with a little introduction. Before we do introduce the two guests, I want to start with a little quick background and on what kind of led us to where we are today. In the fall, we met internally to discuss a comprehensive roof analysis produced by Garland Roofing, and that would be Ryan here. The document assessed the roof of each school and laid out a prioritized long-range plan for the future. It revealed the highest priority roof repair needs exist on Lincoln Trail. We talked about a little bit a few months back about, look out for the roof repair bids and things, so that's what we're doing tonight. Two agenda items because they broke it out into labor and materials and supplies that we will then purchase through a national purchasing co-op. Similar model to what we're doing in the backyard here with Middletown Edition with the owner furnished contractor installed items. In fact, it's the same exact model there. So I will say, I'll steal the guy's thunder a little bit here, but we earmarked $285,000 in health life safety funds, and bids came in at $220,000. So we were pleased with how bids rolled out. So I will introduce Damian Schlitt from BLDB Architects and Ryan Benson from Garland Roofing. They'll walk us through the details of both agenda items and we can vote on those individually.
Good evening, everyone. Good night. So as Trent mentioned, I'm Damian Schlitt, for those of you that I haven't met. This is Ryan Benson with the Garland Company. Just kind of piggybacking off what Trent had mentioned about the kind of roof survey. A couple of years ago, we did the 10-year health life safety amendment. And as a part of that, roofs and the degradation of those would be done through health life safety funds. Typically in the past, what we would do, in the past 20 years, we would just say, okay, this roof's past its warranty, let's tear it off, let's replace it, and move on. In today's technology, there's ways that we can kind of save a lot of dollars in that, and that's through more strategic planning. That's where we got to kind of the overall roof analysis. Brought Ryan and his company in. What they're able to do is more detailed survey of the roof systems, actually some imaging to look for wet and dry insulation, which could really save dollars for the district over the long term. In addition to that, we looked at what are ways that we can not only replace the roof membrane, but maybe even keep the insulation in place, or even just maintain surfaces for a few years to come to help kind of align the dollars of health life safety and roof maintenance with Trent's budget that he didn't have to report on tonight. So that's what's brought us kind of to today. So the first series of roofs were at Lincoln Trail. We've done a series of, within that report, which I think the building committee has seen, those are the top priority, kind of the roofs that were not only out of warranty, but we're also having some issues with water infiltration. There are also ballasted roofs, which means they have rock on them. That's very atypical anymore to do that type of a system. We either glue it down or attach it in a different manner. So we're trying to get away from that. What we were able to do here, and I'll introduce Ryan here in a second to kind of talk about what product we're actually going to be installing. But what we looked at here was rather than just going back to maybe a TPO roof membrane or even a rubber type of membrane, it's actually a built-up system. So rather than a 20-year warranty, we're actually going to have a 30-year warranty on this. So at the beginning of the project, when I was looking at best bang for your buck, I said, in my district, I don't want to put a roof on again for this building, which with 30-year warranty, in this type of system, we should be able to do. Real quick, the bid tab, we had 6 bidders come out, which was fantastic. Our low bid was Top Quality Roofing out of Mount Zion. Yes, out of Mount Zion. Very highly recommended. We've come into contact with them a lot and have nothing but positive things to say. We actually had an alternate bid for an additional portion of Lincoln Trail that is within that $220,000 total bid that we discussed earlier. The second portion of this, though, is the actual procurement of the materials. We know that you were familiar with it through some other purchasing cooperatives, and that was the way we were able to save some dollars as well, was by bidding out the labor portion of it with the understanding that the district would purchase that material and then hand it off to the contractor to install.
I know the answer to this.
No.
It's the same material, it's the same quality.
Yes. Yes. The difference is the path that it gets to you. You write an invoice to the manufacturer and pay for it, as opposed to it being marked up several times. Yeah. Probably approximately $20,000 in savings just on the material side by procuring in this manner.
Because we're a school.
We'll be
Because we're
purchasing.
part of the purchasing.
Yeah, through
Purchasing
US
co-op.
communities, yeah, purchasing a national co-op.
So we wouldn't typically do this with just, any material if it wasn't on those procurement lists, because you need to bid those out, but being a part of the cooperative, able to do that, so. Yeah. I don't know if there's anything you wanted to.
If anybody wants to know anything particular about the roof system, I can answer that.
Sure.
Basically what it is, it's going to be, like Daniel alluded to, is a built-up roof system. So it's going to have multiple layers. We'll actually have 4 layers of waterproofing versus 1. And the difference being that we'll actually monitor the installation, we'll warranty the materials and the labor for 30 years. And then on top of that, we'll come out every 2 years. There's no charge for it. We'll come out every 2 years and inspect the roof. And it goes into an online database that Trent can see, because it's also to protect us too. We're holding the warranty. So we want to make sure that the roof system's in good shape for a long time. Plus, it is a huge it's a huge advantage to the district, because everything has to be done long-term. So when you look at over a 30-year life cycle, it's actually costing taxpayers a lot less money versus having to replace it in 20 years.
So does the roofing go on top of the current, or the current comes off and?
The current will come off, so what it is basically like big river rock, and then there's a rubber membrane. The rock actually holds the roof system on the insulation. So we'll pull that off, and then it actually gets fastened down with fasteners, and then the new roof system comes on top of that. So we'll actually get rid of the old, but the insulation's all still good, which is going to save the district quite a bit.
That was gonna be my question. I know you said when you did the imaging that we saw before, you can tell what's dry and what's wet.
Yep.
Do we have any wet insulation that's gonna need to come out?
No.
No.
And that's where a lot of dollars were able to be saved on this project, was that understanding. Because like I said, originally, with health life safety dollars, we'd say, to get a bid, we have to be very clear with our scope. So we'd say, okay, take it off, because we don't know if it's dry or wet. And then you come in, and even with new energy codes, you then have to remove insulation back. The fact that we're just removing the membrane itself, we're able to just put a membrane back, save a ton of dollars. There's a lot of waste that was saved as well. We've identified those were the kind of most critical roofs in the district, so we'll really just kind of plan the next several years.
So that's the 4th grade wing, right?
Yes.
And then over the entrance, the main entrance, and then the alternate was the entrance over the gym. And then I think the little that sticks out over the campus here.
Yes.
So those are the 4 sections.
Yeah, those are the 4 sections.
So there's not a problem with doing part of the roof, and then down the road, we could do the same thing to the other part?
Right.
So the whole point of the comprehensive plan was so you guys can be proactive, so the board can be proactive in their approach. So instead of having to replace a roof, you might be able to restore it, which is something we're not talking about here, but it's a lot less dollars that the district is going to have to spend, which is kind of the point, is trying to be as proactive as possible. Just think of it like your car. If you never did maintenance to it, the bill you're going to pay at the end of the day is a lot higher than if you do the technical stuff.
It's very typical on a school building to do search washes based on.
I was just trying to making sure that if we only do part of it, that's not going to affect the warranty of what we end up doing.
No, and in fact, the rest of that roof is already out of warranty anyway. There's no warranty on any of it.
On our rock roof, there's not any
No.
warranty left. Sorry.
And at any time, actually,
Stuck.
as they tie in, like even in, say, 5 years, let's say, which is actually further than that for the rest of it, but in 5 years, if we need to replace the adjacent, contractor's responsible for making sure the tie-ins meet those warranties to keep them in place. That's always taken care of kind of in the front end of the project.
So essentially, since we're doing it in stages, we'll have different warranty time for different parts of the room.
Right. And that's really pretty typical, unless you can afford to just do an entire building at once, which at that building, I don't know if you remember the dollar figure, but there was a lot more roof than what is kind of available in the budget this time.
So Dave, was your difference in the budget and what actually came in, the fact that the installation was not trashed and didn't have to be taken out? It wasn't clean stuff.
I'll actually
It's from both. So it's actually the cost savings from, because what happens is when contractors typically mark up material between 20 and 25%. So if they don't know what it costs, they can't really effectively mark it up. The other thing is, you have the whole part of the tear off of all the insulation, the adding of all the new, all that labor is not in that number. So that's where you're gonna see some substantial savings on this.
We also coordinated a manner, the rock that's there is actually recyclable, so Shane's identified some space miles, so they don't have to truck it 50 miles away to dump it. It's essentially be reused for different landscaping things as needed. Just really clean rock. And also with six bidders, they knew, everybody knew who was bidding. They knew they were up against 5 of their local competitors, and really our 3 lowest were really fighting for it. So that helps as well.
So does the labor that you just described as being saved suggest that we ought to be looking at doing other roof without having that labor, not waiting too long?
Yeah, and that's kind of what that comprehensive plan, if you dig into that, you'll see a lot of the planning that we kind of put together is revolved around taking that proactive approach. Because then we can actually say, okay, we can save the district X amount of dollars by doing it this way versus waiting until it fails.
So we'll see you again.
Hopefully,
We met
yes.
back in January, the facilities committee, and, yeah, we discussed that health life safety funds will primarily be focused on roofing for the next 3 to 4 years.
And that was part as well, with what parts we did was trying to align it in the availability of health safety funds and not needing to be different than other funding measures.
Right, but it's just nice to be able to use health life safety funds.
Yeah.
Awesome.
State's good with us doing this?
Yeah.
Very good.
Questions?
Any further questions?
Great. Thank you.
Okay, so the first part of this, superintendent recommends the Board of Education approve the Lincoln Trail Roof labor bid as presented. Is there a motion to do that? Thank you, Devin. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Merle. Further discussion or questions on the labor portion? Hearing none, clear the roll call, please.
Larson? Yes. Nolke?
Yes.
Giles?
Yes.
Hart? Yes. Raver?
Yes.
Castle?
Yes.
Hope.
Yes, and then the second part is the superintendent recommends the Board of Education authorize the purchase of the roofing materials through U.S. Communities Purchasing Cooperative not to exceed $106,000. Is there a motion to do that?
So moved.
Thank you, Lance. Is there a second?
Second.
Lori, further discussion on that part of the project? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Hart? Yes. Castle?
Yes.
Raver?
Yes.
Giles?
Yes.
Nolke?
Yes.
Larson? Yes.
Yes.